This next section is on digging deeper into marketing, understanding how to get people to walk in your door and how to really build your business. And it's not simple. It doesn't come naturally to massage therapists. So I want to help you with that. The truth is that most advertising dollars would be better off used for heat, to burn them in your fireplace, because at least you get some light and some heat out of the deal. But most people spend money on advertising, think if I just spend the money, I'll get something in return. And that's not true. As you start off in your marketing, you want to understand that your marketing has to be built on the back of your mission statement. So you have your statement of purpose. We wrote that earlier, and then you wrote your mission statement. That mission statement is going to give you direction on where you take your marketing. It's been said that customer service is not a department in a company, but neither is marketing. It needs to permeate every aspect of your business, and marketing has to be involved in every piece of your business, and from the customer service through the design of your offices to the actual advertising you place, as well as the message on your website. But it all has to be cohesive and has to be unifying as you put that plan together. To make yourself successful, you have to be a niche marketer. You have to find certain groups that you go after. You can go after more than one because you'll market them differently and separately. So it's okay to have specific groups that you go after, certain audiences. You might do geriatric work, and you also might do sports massage. But don't just say, we do massage. You want to be more specific in that and find how you're going to immerse yourself into those audiences, and that allows you to compete with companies that have been around longer and are better known than yourself because you are becoming more specific in your work. You want to ask yourself, what are you trying to accomplish with your advertising? Are you trying to get people to come in for the first time? Are you spending money maybe on current clientele who've seen you in the past, and you're marketing to those folks and asking them to come back or giving them a reason to come back? But what it takes for you to offer is very specific, intriguing offering in your advertising, and you need to make that so compelling the person wants to come and see you. When you're determining your niche marketing, either you can determine who you want to go after, or you can ask people, what am I best at? What things did I do that you really think I'm great at? And they may say, oh, I love how you work with athletes. Okay, well, maybe that's true. If you think I'm really good at athletic massage and nobody else does, that's important to look at. So ask people and make sure that your intuition of what you think you're good at is truth as well, by a perception of the public. And once you find out what you're good at and that people believe that, you want to help define your market specifically. You want to look at the target market from the standpoint of what occupations do they have, and where do they live, and how much do they earn, what hobbies they have, what age are they. All those pieces come together in creating that niche in your marketing aspects. And we discussed that somewhat earlier, but again, if you're a niche marketer and you do it right, you have no competition. So once you know that, you want to find out, how do I get the message out? And what is your identity? Your identity is not your image. Your corporate identity is about how you perceive yourself and how you want businesses to perceive yourself. It's not the reality. The reality is coming down to corporate image. And corporate image is much, much different than your identity. Identity is what you think you are. Corporate image is how people see you. So we want to design our logos and things and have all of our design for our offices and our websites, and that helps build our identity. But you need to find out how people see you, and that takes research. You should ask people, how do you perceive our company, and what areas do you think that we're strong in, and find out from the public and do research. And it might hurt when you find out how people perceive you, but realize the difference is there between identity and image, and they're not always the same thing. To be effective, advertising requires consistency. If you run an advertisement once, it's not going to work. And I know this. Even though I know it, I didn't follow my own rules. Years ago, I ran an advertisement for my massage video, Massage with Confidence. And I thought, man, if I put in TV Guide, which back in 1993 was a great way to advertise, I put it in the entire West Coast. 2.6 million readers were seeing my advertisement on the entire West Coast of Washington, Oregon, and California. I put it on a Thursday night lineup when Friends and Seinfeld is a great place for my advertisement. 2/3 of a page on the right-hand placement. And it's going to be awesome. So I advertised it. I spent, back then, thousands and thousands of dollars. I borrowed money to do it. I put it in the magazine, and I waited for Thursday night to show up. And you know what? On Wednesday of that week, The entire state of California was on fire. Wildfires everywhere, hundreds of wildfires. People didn't look at their magazines. They tossed them in the garbage can because they were watching the news. I lost my shorts. If I had done a smaller advertisement with a good message and a compelling reason to buy my product, and I had shown that maybe over 10 weeks over and over and over, and people kept looking at the ad, and eventually they actually would read it after seeing it so many times, maybe then I would have done a better job. But instead, I didn't have any, I had a handful of sales. It just was a waste of my time and money. Same is true with you. When you market in any way at all, you need to be consistent and do it over and over and over. And that has a repetition from a standpoint of design, so people recognize your work, as well as message. So when you look at advertising, you have repetition, focus, and positioning. And we look at these industry terms as frequency, reach, and saturation. So frequency times reach equals saturation. The best way to have an analogy of that is your lawn. So if I have an area of 1,000 square feet and I want to water that, and I have a chance of putting a tenth of an inch of water on 1,000 square feet, or I can take 100 square feet and put 1 inch of water on that, which is going to be greener at the end of a week? Well, the idea is that you can advertise. Lots and lots of people will see your ad just once with a very small amount of information or water, or you can have a smaller group of people and have them see it over and over and over with repetition. Saturation increases, and when that happens, you're able to get a higher amount of sale. So advertising is just like watering a lawn. If you spend money on a large area very few times in advertising, you probably will fail and you'll kill that lawn. If you want to succeed, narrow your focus, narrow the size of the audience, and increase the amount of times they see it. And after the third or fourth time, eventually they'll go, oh, and they'll see your message. So take that with every aspect of advertising you do. Think about frequency times reach and saturation as your result, and that will help you significantly just for that one piece alone in your advertising understanding. When you're putting together your advertising, whether it's a poster, whether it's a brochure, whether it's your website, there's some key components that must take place. And if you do these things, it's going to make a big, big difference in your success. The first is a headline. Again, I mentioned before, on your website, on your posters that you do, or on your flyers, even on your business cards, have a headline. Under that, have the body of text. And in that body, you want to have an offer. You want to have some kind of an offer made for them that they're going to say, gosh, I need to take advantage of this. Maybe it's going to have a deadline on that. But you want to have a hook, and that hook is going to be what really drags them and brings them in. Maybe it's going to be a free book, or it's going to be a free DVD about something. Oftentimes when companies offer a free something, they'll say, just stop on into the office and pick it up. So if you want to give out a free DVD about something you've done, or a free DVD about how to do massage at home or whatever, they just stop by your office to pick it up. They'll say, oh, can you mail it to me? Nope, they're available at my office. You can stop on by and grab that if you'd like. When they come in, they get to meet you, or they get to have that free DVD when they fill out a form and mail that in perhaps. Now you have their information. So just make sure it's just not giving things away, but you're collecting data at the same time. Truly successful marketing is very different from what your competition is doing. So if everyone is doing the same thing and they're not busy, don't copy them. You want to be different, and you want to have your competition look different from you, and they're probably going to even laugh at what you do if you do it right, because you want to stand out from the competition. But if you look like everybody else, the public won't even see your work. It's going to blend in with the environment. So you got to ask yourself, is it better to do things that look the same as everyone else and very refined and proper and just make a livable wage, or is it better to do things differently and makes a killing because you're standing out in the community as something different and something unique? Try to think about how you can be unique and different in your marketing, because you will stand out when you're doing something different than everybody else. Most advertising is designed to impress people. It impresses other massage therapists. I laugh when I used to see phone book advertisements, and it would talk about all these amazing massage techniques that me as a therapist, I know what that is, but clients don't know. It's gibberish to them. Again, we want to talk to our clients about what we're going to do for them, not the impressiveness of a certain brand or that we're certified in something. We want to talk about what we're going to do, guaranteed your money back. That will get people knocking on your door. Big companies have time to build an image over years and spend millions of dollars to get the message out and to build that long-term plan. You don't. You need to eat. And to do that, you have to make business sales today, get clients in the door today, and massage people today and get paid today. To do that, your message has to be compelling to make them act today. I've advertised my school that I had over 10 years. I spent $1 million in advertising. In that 10 years, my town went from not having a school to, after advertising to my target market, which was women 25 to 49 years of age, was a target market, even though we had men, even though we had older and younger. But after 10 years of advertising, just 20% of my town knew that we even had a massage school in the city limits. So do you have $1 million to advertise? Probably not. Which means that your advertising you do, any form of advertising, has to have a hook, has to have a reason, something compelling that makes them want to call you today. So give them something for their effort, make it compelling, so compelling they have to call you right away and not delay, versus just, hey, we're here if you want us sometime, give us a ring. It's not going to work. So to make that compelling, you're going to give them an offer of some type. Don't just give us we're here if you need us advertisement, but you have an offer, a reason to come in the door, have some way to respond immediately. Hopefully it's a phone number or it's some kind of a form on a website that's going to give them something right away. You want to instruct them exactly how you'd like them to respond. Don't just say, hey, find one of these 5 ways, but give them a specific way you'd like them to respond to you. Make it very clear in the advertisement so there's no confusion. And ask some kid who's in the 5th grade, say, does this make sense? What's the message? What would you do? I had a friend who showed me a poster recently of her program she's involved in. They're giving a lecture, and I looked at it's a beautiful design, and I had no idea. I studied it for 30 seconds, and I still could not figure out what it was for. So if the person can't figure out in just a few seconds what you're trying to advertise and what messages you're trying to get across, no one's going to understand. So again, beauty's nice, but you want to have a compelling reason to call and act now. You also want to find out how your advertisement's doing. So you need to know this information. It's very important. If you have employees working for you, they must ask people, how did you hear about us? If they say a friend referred me, who referred you? Who's that person? If they saw an advertisement, where was the advertisement? It was, the old days, we have 3 or 4 different brands of yellow pages in our area. And I'd say, what page did you find us on? Because I want to know which book was working for us. And so you want to know specifically what advertising you're doing is working. And the only way you're going to find out is to ask your clientele. And keep asking questions until you know specifically how they found you. But as you work with your employees, remember, employees work for you. And they say, well, I forgot to ask. That's not okay. If they want a wage, they have to ask the question of, how did you hear about us? It needs to be written down and tracked. Track the information always in any advertising that you do. When you're in business, one of the most frustrating things is you're going to have salespeople constantly contacting you, trying to get you to buy advertising. And they'll come to you oftentimes with advertisements already made up with your business name. They'll kind of borrow graphics from your website, and it looks great. They're going to say, look at this advertisement we have for you. It's only this much money per month or this much per week or whatever the case is. It's just that. I'm going to give you a special price at half price. But the point is, it's missing your market entirely. If I gave you a great deal on advertising and your market is high school football players and you're advertising Geriatric Weekly magazine, I don't care how cheap the ad is, you're missing your market entirely. So once you know who your market is, go after that market specifically. You want to have a hook and a way to drag them into your office for a massage. So if you have a great deal in advertising space and your message, you want to catch fish, you wouldn't use cheese in your hook, right? So you want to match the message to your audience. For example, for back pain sufferers, you can have an offer on a free report of anatomy of the rectus spinae muscles. You wouldn't get much of a response. But if you have an offer on a free report of how to eliminate back pain for good, you get a much better response. So your offer of content needs to meet the target market. Again, if you want to catch fish, you don't put cheese on the hook. You want to specifically have information that your market wants. And the only way to know what your market wants is to do research on your target market and find out what their interests are. What are they most interested in receiving information on? Find what that is and give it to them. Again, you want to match your message to the right audience. If you get a great deal in advertising, wrong message, wrong location, it's not going to work out. If I said, I have a great deal for you, it's going to be above a urinal in a bar, on the part of town where all the homeless people live, and it's for people who need to invest $10 million or more. It's the wrong message, the wrong location. So you want to make sure you match that message to the right media as well. And there's many types of media out there. You've got newspapers, which are kind of fading slowly. The online versions seem to be working better. You have consumer magazines for very specific target audiences. You've got trade shows, internet work with email blasts and using podcasts and even iTunes on podcasts, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest. Looking at your homepage for your business, make sure it has a great message for them. You want to look at pop-up ads carefully. I don't like them. Most people are irritated by pop-up advertisements, but you can pay per click on the sidebars. You can pay for banner ads. Again, anything that pops up and gets in their way is very irritating to the viewer. So unless you get their attention very, very quickly, it's not going to work. But television ads can be bought for very cheap after certain hours of the day. You can say, I want to buy any unsold advertising. Works great. But again, television ads, target market, that's a very specific channels for certain audiences. You can go for radio, cinema advertising before the theater plays the movie, billboards, buses, direct mail. I love direct mail advertising. And the reason I do is because, you send an email out and they have a spam filter, and that filters your email, but nobody has a spam filter on their mailbox. They have to touch it. So you can get their attention in 2 seconds or so. They'll hold on to your ad and actually read it. Another great aspect of direct mail is I can actually buy lists of people's names in my community. I can find women who make over a certain amount of money, who have interest in running very specific aspects when you buy mailing lists. So I'll talk to an email provider if you want, but I prefer direct mail. And when you talk to those list providers, you will pay anywhere from 10 cents to maybe 25 cents per name, but they're targeted, and you'll find the people very, very specifically as you market to them, and it's not going to be a waste of your time. You want to make sure that your mailing lists are current. You're not buying old lists. I've had that happen to me before, and so make sure that there's some kind of research or references by people who bought from them before, and do some searching on that. I've had some horrible experiences with mailing list companies, and don't recommend just going with a company you've never heard of before. If you use a mail house, somebody who mails your stuff out for you, they often know or can have access to good quality lists. You also can use flyers and postcards. They say that lumpy packages work well, so people send out maybe a pen with the company name on the pen. That's a lumpy, so they open up your package. But direct mail can work for massage, just like television advertising can work. So don't be afraid to use media that nobody else is using, because you'll be the only person advertising, and you might catch a crowd that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. There's also newsletters, sales letters, catalogs, posters, coupon packs, which I do not recommend doing coupons unless you're getting something free with their massage. Vehicle signs, package inserts. Valpak is one. Again, don't give a discount on your massage, but give a bonus when they come in for a massage. If they show that coupon, they get to have a free DVD about something, or a free music CD, or something that's unique for them. You look at local school posters they sell for football teams. It's a waste of money and waste of time unless that's specifically who you're going after. So make sure, again, just because you have a good deal or it's a good cause, you're better off just giving them the money because you're not going to get any benefit from the ad if it's not hitting your target market. When it comes to free massage, it's one of the best ways, one of the top ways to build your business, and it doesn't really cost you anything. It costs you the cost of the paper that you print a certificate on, and it costs you the laundry costs of washing sheets and linens. But using free is one of the best ways to get new business. And I want to talk to you about some ideas with that. So if you create certificates, and I mean have a graphic artist design it for you, don't use a placard card, but actually get a nice fold-over card, have it printed nicely, and maybe a graphic on the front, or a picture perhaps of you doing treatment. A nice, well-designed card, maybe think about maybe gold foil or gold leaf looking type of design, and make those up, and then have a place for an expiration date and such. But you'll make these into these free gift certificate type program, and you want to go into businesses to do this. So I'm going to give you some examples how this might work. So you're going to make a card up, and some people actually like to use these credit card type coupon, and they're not as attractive. You can do that through your merchant services, we'll talk about merchant services later, but you can make these cards up and these printed beautiful cards and go into businesses and say, hey, you know what? I'm doing a promotional right now. I'm trying to build my business. I'd like to offer you a gift of X many $1,000. And you're going to get the person's attention and say, I'd like you, I know you have 30 employees here. I'd like you to give all of them this free half an hour massage at my clinic. And it's a win-win. You guys get to give a gift out. It helps me build my practice. And I'm going to go ahead and give these to you. And they're only good for the next 3 weeks or 2 weeks. Put the expiration date on there. And how many would you like, or if you know specifically, say, is that going to work out for you? Would you like me to give those to you? And as you offer those free massages, as people come in, you're going to be able to build your business. They get to actually see your work and come in and get comfortable by meeting you and get a sample of what you do. There are a few different things about this that are very important. One is always have some not fine print, but have it well printed on the card, some specific rules. One is that it's available to be upgraded to a longer massage. If you're giving a half an hour away and you don't have an option upgrade for maybe 60 minutes or a 90-minute massage, and put on there specifically what that's going to cost to upgrade. When they call you for the appointment, say, would you like to upgrade that massage? And many people, they're feeling guilty for receiving something for free, and so they want to upgrade to a higher price. When you book the appointment, if they don't do it then, when they come in, if you have time afterwards, say, you know what, I have a half an hour available afterwards, would you like to upgrade your massage to a longer one? If they don't, that's still fine, because you get to see what your work is like and have a higher chance of actually coming back. And most people, more than half, will come back for a future massage. Another thing to make sure you have on that card is no cash value. And actually print it on there, no cash value, because it's truly a coupon versus a prepaid gift certificate. So there's no cash value. They can't get their money back for it. And another important thing is to put is new customers only. So for example, if it's possible that your current clientele gets wind of this and they're feeling guilty or jealous, I should say, they're not getting something for free, you can tell them, you know what, I'll give you, part of your next massages, I'll give you a discount on that. I hate discounting, but you have to prepay for your massages. So I'm only doing this for the next 8 weeks. Any prepaid massages can be bought for this price. And I don't like to do that, but it may help to make that person more relaxed about the fact that other people are getting something for free. But if they do that, say, I need your help though, and I need your help giving out these free ones to a few of your friends who might need this work. But also on the certificate, you want to print on there it says new customers, but also only one free massage per person. So just be very clear, only one per. So if a person they're new, but they get 5 of these, so saying, well, I'm new, but I want 5 of these massages. No, it says one per person. Also have on there a very specific, it says expiration date and a blank line. You're going to handwrite the dates. When you hand these out, you're going to write 3 weeks out, perhaps 2 weeks out, because you want them to act now. You don't want them to wait on this for a year, and you want them to either use them or don't. But if the person does call up and say, you know what, I missed the deadline, can you still use this? What I often will say is, that's fine. I usually don't do this, but if you'll book the appointment today, if you'll make the appointment as we're on the phone today, I'll go ahead and do that for you. But don't say, yeah, whenever you want to in the future. Make the person make any action now. So it's really important. Before people leave your office who are current clients, I'll also often will say, hey, you know what? They'll say, I love your work. You're so amazing. Say, you know what? Do you have any other friends who also have headaches or who have back pain? I'd like to give you a certificate to hand out to someone as a gift from you to them to encourage them to get some treatment. So here's a half an hour. Is there someone you can think of who might be able to benefit from my treatment? And go ahead and give those out to your current clientele, because they're the best salespeople for you. So don't be afraid to hand those out, and that will also help expand your clientele. We'll often just hand people business cards and say, here, give these out to your friends. Honestly, they won't. They might keep them in their purse or in their wallet just in case. But if you give them a certificate, an actual gift of value that makes them realize, wow, I can give this to a friend, and that person can get help. That person, as soon as that business or a client or whoever gives somebody that certificate, there's kind of an implied endorsement that a business, people think that, wow, that person must like their work. And so that implied endorsement is going to help you as well.